Hello everyone. So for today, probably you're wondering why am I seeing a blank screen? So actually today I'm be sharing something that is from me lah. I don't know whether this is it's not validated by anyone, but this is just my opinion and my views on the topic. So I believe most of us after SPM we pursue our education, we go for A levels, diplomas, matriculasi, or even from six. And then we pursued bachelor's degree, and some of us even go into master's, PhD, before we actually go into the working society. So, I mean, as a fresh grad, I believe most of us we don't really know what we want to do in life. We don't really know whether we took the right path, and but that's life. I mean, life is quite long. I mean, it's not long lah, but it's long enough for us to figure it out. So I remember personally when I first applied for my first job, I got this assessment where they actually asked me to rate um, out of 15 factors, which factors matter most to me and which is the least lah. So I didn't quite understand that, but I do appreciate the assessment to help enable us to identify certain things. But after working for about 1 or 2 years time, I realized it comes down to these main three factors. There's only these three main factors that actually affects whether the company is suitable for us to stay on or not. So today's topic will be three factors deciding on the stay. What do I mean by that? Is I mean we can see that some people can work in a company for 10, 20, 30 years, and then we can see some people working in company for less than 2 months, 3 months, or even just 6 months, and then they move on to another job or another career path. I think this is very common nowadays. But actually, if in my belief, in my point of view, if you understand that these three factors truly determines a person's to stay in a company for long or not. So let's take a look. So the three factors that I mentioned that decides on the stay, it comes down to these three factors lah. And to provide you a better understanding on why these three factors is the most important factors deciding on stays, I'll be using a building as a metaphor for you to visualize how does it affect a person to stay in a company or not. So when we are looking to buy a house or build a house, we will look at the plot of land. So the first thing we'll do is we will build a foundation, and then we will continue with the support columns and pillars. Then only we put on the floor slabs for the first level. All right. So the three factors will be the first one will be foundation, which is comprised of culture, environment, and value. So probably you're wondering why these three factors is considered one factor. This is because if you take a look, a good culture will only enable a good environment. So environment is dependent on culture. Same goes to value. With good environment, there will be good values. So good culture, good environment, good value. If we have bad culture, we'll have bad environment, and then we will have bad values. So this is why I put these three factors together as one factor, which act as the foundation. Because if we have a building with a poor foundation, the building will collapse. Correct? So the next thing will be columns or pillars, supporting pillars. So these are wage and the perks lah. In short, money. I know money is quite a sensitive topic to actually talk about, especially for fresh grads. But believe it or not, we have to take this aspect very seriously when looking for a job, because if we do not take consideration and put emphasis on it, we will actually suffer after we took on the opportunity or job. So yeah, the next thing will be passion. So since passion is something that is always available from one, means ourselves lah. But I believe that as we are doing something, the passion can either grow or die off as time passes by. That means it can increase or decrease. So let's visualize this. We have a building. If if your floor slab is weak, right, will the building collapse? The answer is, in my understanding, the building will not collapse because you have strong foundation and strong support pillars. So this means that if the culture environment value, the foundation of the company is weak, this building will collapse very soon. In other words, the person will not stay in the company for long. All right. And if the money or the wage and perks is, I won't say bad, but it does not fit with your needs. Maybe your expenses is more than what you're given. Then if your support and column pillars are weak or shaky, or it starts to crack, what will happen to the building? The building will collapse. So that is what I mean by these three factors lah, that decides on a person to stay in a company for long or not. So in short, to me, the foundation, the culture, environment, value, this is the first most important thing. And the second thing will be the wage and perks, which is the money. Because most of us, I believe, we work to secure financial aspects. We need to secure financially to provide for ourselves, for our families, or even our siblings and etc. So these first two factors is very important and very critical. Whereas your passion is very important when you start a job. But as you work, I believe it doesn't matter you have passion or not, because you already have the skills and knowledge to do the work. So these are the three main factors I believe that greatly influence a person to stay in a company for long or not. Okay, so curiously I've been using the three factors, the metaphor of the building, which is the foundation, the culture, environment, value, and the second thing will be the support pillars, which is wage and perks. And the third thing will be passion as the floor slabs in the building. So to give you a better visualization of what I mean, let's take a look at the first one, which is the foundation. So it has the interlinked factors of culture, environment, and value. All right, so it acts as the foundation. So let's take a look at the next thing, which is wage and perks, which act as the support pillars. And then we have passion as our floor slabs. So if you take a look at the arrows here, what does this arrow mean? Okay, if you're someone who studied engineering before, maybe you are more familiar with these arrows. So if you take a look at the first arrows in the foundation, this means the force is actually being supported upwards and downwards. All right, and then look at the support pillars. They are supporting a downward force. Where does this force come from? The force of the load from the floor slab. That means the weight of the floor slab is pushing down. So if we have very good foundation and good support pillars, that's what we have good culture, environment, and values, and good perks and wages, we will have a strong building that's going to last for a very long time. And I believe as we started our job or started our new career, the first few weeks, maybe it will be not much load. But as time goes by, I believe our responsibility will be increased. The workload will be more. So this is where it comes with workload, which is like the roof of a building. So imagine this space here in between the roof and the floor slab. These are all your furnitures. In other words, additional loads and additional loads from your responsibilities, your workload, yeah, maybe your work stresses, things like that. So as all this thing increases,
our workload is increases, the load is increases, the downward force will be higher. So this is why I say a good foundation and good support pillars is very important. Because if your foundation is bad, your financial support is bad. As the load increases, you will collapse. You will be unstable. And you probably will do the next thing, which is find a better opportunity or find a job that is equivalent to the workload that is acting on you. This is why a lot of people, let's say someone who is earning maybe 10,000 a month, but because the company foundation, the culture, environment, and value is bad, they still leave the company anyway because they can't be stable in this state. Same thing goes with a company with very good culture, environment, and value, but the wage and perks given, the support pillars is small. It's not able to support the load as well. So this person will actually find better opportunities. They find a person will stay in the company for long once they found a good foundation, company with good culture, value, environment, and the company is willing to provide them, offer them good wage and perks. That is giving them a very strong support pillars, whether it is for the first month, first year, or the facts for the next 2 to 3 years or next 10 to 20 years. As long as the foundation and the support pillars is good and strong, it doesn't matter how much is the workload here. As long as the force is at least at an equal ratio, the person will stay in the company. As long the workload, the downward force is smaller than the upward force, the supporting force, this person will become more unstable and start to look for a balance in this situation. So this is how I visualize these 3 factors and deciding on a person to stay in the company for long or not. All right, so that's all from me today. So I'm not sure whether you agree with me or not, but if you do agree with me that these 3 factors is the main factors that decide a person to stay or not, it will be a strong foundation and a strong supporting pillars. With these 2 in place, the stay will be there. So again, the 3 main factors that decide a person to stay in a company for long or not will be the first thing, which is the foundation, consisting of good culture, environment, and values. And the second thing will be good support pillars, which comprises of wage and perks. And the third thing will be strong and good passion, which acts like the floor slabs or the load on the first 2 factors. All right, so thanks again for those who have listened, and feel free to subscribe for more content like this. Thank you very much.